that look right to you guys? The fact that this is one. What, does that look right to you guys?
Yeah.
Okay. Something through to make feedback. I think we're okay. Okay. This is the Community Development Advisory Board Committee for the CDBG applications for fiscal year 2024. And I'm hopeful that everybody had a chance to begin looking at the applications. And I sent the scoring sheets to everybody so that everybody kind of had a better handle on how they should go about scoring for the applications. And everybody also received the matrix codes and the national objectives. On the application and the I'm sorry, the spreadsheet that everybody got, we had already filled in what the national objectives were on the side here, but we wanted to give you the sheets so that you could better inform yourself on why these were chosen. So where would you like to begin?
I guess my first question is this the sum total of applications that were submitted?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So the spreadsheet, we're guesstimating that we're going to get 650,000. Of that, the maximum amount that we can use for administration is 20%, which would be about 130,000. We have one application that was put in for housing. In years past, we had put a lot away off to the side for housing, but we no longer have that in-house.
Mm-hmm. So
last year, because there was so much money sitting there, the mayor opted to get into an agreement with RUPCO to do a first-time homebuyer program.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully they're working with that. They were given, I think, a little over $500,000. So I'm really hopeful that they start getting that spent down because we need to make time on this year as of May 1st.
I see.
And we did not make it last year or the year before. And then public facilities would be the remaining, which is about 402,000. And the public services, the most that we can use is 15%. Those are HUD regulations, they're not ours. The applications that you see on the left-hand side on the spreadsheet, those correlate with the applications that you received. And the total requests were $200,345, and we have $97.50 that we can use, roughly.
Okay. So of the applications, and I had questioned this idea of funding the same program. There's several that we've basically, this is a year after year.
And I'm sorry, you were not, I don't mean to interrupt you, you were not here at the last meeting.
Yeah.
I was asked to put like the last 4 or 5 years together of applicants who have received.
Okay.
And,
Oh, thank
and
you.
what they received.
Oh.
I can go further. I started from 2005. It'll just take me a little bit more time.
You. So, I mean, I guess my reading is that this is not actually something that we can do. And I'm a little, I don't understand because some of these programs have been funded multiple years and they're great programs. I just don't know if this is the pot of money that, and I don't feel comfortable necessarily addressing applications that don't meet the basic requirement of the program.
I understand. I guess we're going to talk in theory here for a minute.
Yeah.
Ideally, as many people can apply, as long if it's a different program.
Right.
They can't really apply. That a lot of my notes are what makes this different than it
Okay.
was last time. And
Okay.
so
Oh, I see.
that's why we invite folks to be here
Yeah.
to explain that. Otherwise, we're gonna get to the table and say, I think this is the same as last year, so, but if somebody's here, they can explain why it's different.
So can we talk about those projects first?
Yeah.
Um,
I just
And
wanted
sort of
you to know that, I'm sorry, I did send everybody frequently asked questions.
Yeah.
So, I mean, some of it does answer to, they can come back, but they do need to have a significantly expanded activity or a completely new activity.
Right.
And by significantly expanded, that's not, we added 5 people. It's, we added 25 or 30 or maybe 40 people to the activity.
And additionally, there's also, and we see kind of repetitions, someone will apply for something that's readily available in the community. That we don't really necessarily want to give them money to duplicate something else. We really want to see, a different program. That's really what this is all about, to start up programs.
right.
That's really what it's all about. But yes, we do see a lot of the same folks come forward.
So like the City of Kingston application, I know that's probably not a popular one to raise, but how is their application different than other years?
That's what we want to ask.
Because I'm not really seeing a significant difference. And I don't feel like we should be asked to support projects that don't meet the basic requirements of the HUD program. I mean, I think it's a great program.
Yeah, there's no bad ones. I mean,
No.
everybody that comes.
Right, but I mean, I just think, given that we have to winnow this list down, I feel most comfortable winnowing from those projects that don't meet one of the standards. And for me, I feel like the City of Kingston, the Read and Write program are not effectively different. And I don't know, I mean, I'll have to see, I know on the application for the Ulster Immigrant Defense Network, it was basically, here's what we did last year, and we want to continue that. That doesn't speak to me of a new program.
No, it's not supposed to be a way of life. We're not here to keep your business afloat. That's really not our purpose here. And that's where we come in.
Right.
We're going to sit down and discuss these things. And at the end of the day, we're going to make recommendations. And we're going to sit here and everybody's going to weigh in, hopefully. It certainly makes for a better forum if everybody is involved in the conversation. We've done pretty well in the past. Actually, sometimes it's a lot of fun, because everybody really joins in, and as long as people don't get really headstrong, like I want this, and I can't remember the last time we had that situation. Everybody's been very open-minded and team-oriented, so hopefully this will be more of the same. But again, ours, when push comes to shove, we're only making recommendations. Our say-so doesn't carry the same weight that it used to.
Okay.
So,
I mean, how does everyone feel about using that as a criteria to winnow down our list?
yeah, and certainly, when we come back, we're going to ask questions tonight. Hopefully you'll get answered. And when we come back to the table to start discussing it, that can be your argument. And everybody might be on board. Somebody may argue, well, I think it's a little bit different. Or everybody may say, no, that's the same thing as last year, forget it. And a lot of times we say, no, this is out. They don't get any share of the pot.
Right.
I tried to, when I put together the scoring system, I tried to address some of those concerns. Everybody got
Which one is the scoring document?
the,
I feel like I got so many documents.
Yeah, I don't
It's
really
hard
answer.
to
but
actually.
I wanted to make sure that everybody have them so that everybody at some point was prepared. These are mine, though. Break it off.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess this is my first time going through this, so I wasn't sure what to expect.
Well, I purposely
So-
did a reading system so that it made it easier for
So I
everybody.
didn't, right, so I didn't go through, because I understood that we were gonna be hearing from the applicants in subsequent meetings, I didn't go through and do any floor. Okay, so I wanna be open to hearing what all of the applicants have to say.
So while Dan is here tonight, and I'm sorry, I don't know who you are.
Should tell you the point again.
Okay. And,
Sure. Linda Law, the whole center.
but everybody else has been notified that starting, the next meeting is when we would be really asking questions of the applicants. I just wanted to make sure, sorry about that. I want to make sure that this meeting was so that everybody understood the process of what we have to do.
Okay, good, that's fine.
Since they're here, if you have questions, feel free.
So Mandy, is there like a way in which you generally organize
Well,
this
in the
particular
past-
meeting?
In the past, what they've done is just kind of like jumped in and gone through like, they would start like at the beginning of the spreadsheet and work
Okay.
their way down. So,
I'm game to that.
Yeah.
I'd love to just basically get started and
and everybody, can if you have thoughts, you have thoughts. If you don't, and you want to mull it over and wait to give your opinion later, that's fine. But if you have them now, that's fine too.
Yeah, and sometimes it is very self-explanatory and we don't have a lot of questions. You know, what they have submitted is pretty obvious.
So we can start with Boys and Girls Club. Dan is here. This is a new program for him, Weekend Warriors. So if you'd like, Dan, if you'd like to tell us about it.
Yeah, so we started, we cementing some sort of program to look at how to expand our services in the club. And how we can access the club on weekends when there's less services for the kids, right? There's no school, there's less after-school sports and clubs, less places for kids to go.
Yeah, why don't you come over?
Yeah, sorry. So we're looking to add to that, and so where we are right now, it's really even taken off even more since our submission, just as far as connections. So we've actually we're in conversations right now with connecting with Khalif Housen to run his Career in Touch program on weekends to collaborate with us, obviously at no cost to him so that he can, access the facility and have a place to mentor kids. As well as we're in conversations with Tina Dearden and the COOP concept with Kingston High School about how they can use our facility. So we're looking to not only provide more opportunities for our kids to be out of the streets, to be safe, constructive programming. There's food every single Saturday, just like every day at club. But now we're looking to see how can we connect and make our community center really help the rest of the community, not just us. So especially adding these is a big expansion of services, as well as I know some of you may have seen that we've just opened up the Greenkill House next door to club, and we're getting a right out the gate a good clientele of those 18 to 23 years old. So now we're going to figure out how we work them into the equation as well.
Of course, you already started speaking about my main question for you is your request here to pay to keep the club open, or is this going to include some programming during those expanded hours?
Yeah, both. I mean, being open a 6 day a week is huge. And the programs that we run, these might be days we're toying with the ideas of how far we can go. We're learning that it's very difficult during the week to fit into our busy schedules, certain programs and projects. And some things need a little more attention on a weekend. We did our design before, we submitted for that with CDBG. And that design team is a little more intensive. It's a little more of a 2-hour type thing that doesn't go as well when there's 70 kids running around the club in all directions. College visits, stuff like that, where we can kind of expand a little more into that, having that bigger chunk of dedicated time. And to be clear, and I know it's in there, it's all high school age and up.
Right, and I did look at the budget, and it does look like essentially you're paying people because in order to be open, you have to have people there because otherwise you can't be open.
Exactly.
And I did notice just a discrepancy that the grant says 14,280, but the request is 15,000.
Yeah, I saw that, it's the 14,280, it's a lower number, yeah, so I saw that thing going through, and I was like, I must not hit save or something like that.
Well,
Sorry.
so you've answered my one question, thank you.
Yes.
So what are your visions for, programming during the expanded hours?
Yeah, well, like I said, we want to get out and around the community more. I'll say if someone like the Coop concept comes in, that's what they're looking to do is to teach kids how to use their hands and to, they make planter boxes and different type of outdoor things. We're making a big dive into workforce development. We have, and this is a little bit, I guess, a little bit off, but important for you to know, the county has received more funding for summer youth employment, so that was youth employment. We're on the head of it we have about 10 to 12 kids employed for us right now and leading all these programs. So part of that is going to be design of what programs do you think you can run on the weekend that your friends are going to be interested in. So some of that goes into it as well, giving the kids the ownership and the leadership. But like I said, we definitely want to try to get into more college visits. We're seeing a lot where like kids are making decisions and doing applications, but they've never seen the campus. They don't really know. It just looks good on a piece of paper, and really getting into that. We do have an active, we all know we have a very active sports program. The gym is very busy on Saturday, 20 to 30 kids at times. And just in that concentrated age group. And that's just in the gym.
Is there more sources where you're gonna get funding from?
So we will, it's funny, we always go through this process and this question is every year is what could you do with less, right? If you did it. What it comes down to is we believe in this and we know it's a need, and my job as executive director is to find the funds. Should it not, here's one avenue. If this does not go through, I have to find another one. We know it's a need. It's where we want to go. The more club is open, the better. So we're trying to set that.
Yeah. How are you gonna outreach, your new, time slots? How are you gonna get the word out?
So we started this program before at the end of COVID with grant money from the state for gun violence, from all the issues that were happening in the inner city areas. We know the demand, we know it's there. It's also important, as you know, club is very transient, right? Season to season, different kids in and out. When right now we're in the winter, we're in basketball season. We're responsible for probably 9, 10 of the 14 kids on the varsity basketball team, as well as JV players and modified on both sides. They don't access the club as much during the week because they have away games. They're away from their mentors. It's another time, if someone goes into a theater or a play or something, they're not around during that time. So it is that off time to really make sure that everyone has an opportunity. And again, we're still $10 a year, and we don't bother the $10 if you don't have it. It's not making the budget. But we're there for our kids.
How's your staff feel about this? Everybody on board?
You know what? It's really worked as far as a freedom for our staffing. It's an extra day, it's work, but we work with our staff to either pick up the extra hours if they're looking to do that, or flex out a day during the week, right? We have a evening oriented crowd. So when they say, I want to work the Saturday so I can be home on Wednesday night to have dinner, with my family, or, flex them out those ways. So it actually makes a much better work environment. And I'm very, very lucky, I have to say. I've never, 10 years, this is year 11 in nonprofit, just as far as a director between my previous position and this one. I've never had a team stronger than what I have right now. The directors and the staffing are amazing, and they work together with each other's schedules and lives. So it's actually helped.
Yeah, great. Some people love that flex time. You can have off a Wednesday instead of a.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, so that could work out well.
No, you could.
So this year, are you bringing any different, like any changing, like something new to the boys and girls, like activities, anything new coming to that club? Or no?
Yeah, well, like I said, first off, the Greenfield House is a whole new thing. I haven't seen many things from talking to national. Many people have a workforce career development thing like that. And we have our staff there, so we're going to try to grow that, as well as, honestly, like I said, the Coop concept is a whole new thing, building. We don't have the resources to go get the tools and to do all that, but we want to partner and make sure that we can help other people's, organizations, as well as let our kids reap the benefits of it. And that's the same with, like I said, Khalif's program, he's accessing that, and our kids are getting another mentor, someone who's an amazing role model who grew up in this community. But the biggest thing is safe places. That's our first thing. right? The programs come after and we absolutely expand upon them, but being open, you know, there's very, very limited services on the weekends that aren't fee-based for kids.
Sure. And do they still have that high school, like the Friday night thing? that-
They do not.
They don't, so
They do
there's
not.
nothing replacing.
Correct.
And do you see this as a program, like this Saturday, is that something? Because I noticed, you know, like sometimes you're required to come up with a new
Yeah,
project and then, but then that goes away. So like, is this something you're hoping to maintain long-term? I
absolutely.
mean, clearly, I think the need for Saturday programming isn't gonna go away when the grant goes away.
Absolutely, and I have to say that this is year number 6 for me. This is let's say my 5th time in this process. Every single program we've run is still running today that is funded by CDBG.
Now, let me ask you this question, Dan, and we ask this pretty much of everybody.
Yep.
The odds are we never have enough to give everybody what they want. How is this going to affect you? Are you just going to reduce the hours if we can't give you what you want, or do you have other funding available, you know, to make your dreams come true, so to speak?
Yeah, so I mean, it's a great question, and as I always, you know, say on a regular basis, like I said earlier, that's my job is to find the funding, should we not be fully funded. I think that, I don't know, I haven't seen the spreadsheet, but typically we are on the lower end because I understand this process and know that there's going to be double the amount asked for than there is available. So we are very frugal, and I'm sure, I mean, I can't confidently say, because I don't have a spreadsheet, that you'll see that ours is saying, but how can we get this done? Or how do I use this? You know, it's really important when you do go to another funder to say, hey, can we be open longer? Can we add more things to it that the city, you know, the city of Kingston has brought into what we're doing, and they see it, it's a big stamp when you go to other places.
You're right, that's a seal of approval, if you can get money here, and then it's easier to match it, but what kind of hours is this funding? And then if you were to reduce it, you're not gonna get all the money.
I will say that if we had to reduce it in funding, if we fundraise at the level we have the last couple of years, I don't anticipate having to, but I don't know that until I get to the fundraising event and we see what happens there. You know, we have our auction in April, which is our biggest, we get through that, hey, do we need to do something else? Do I need to reach out to another grantor? You know, it's a process. This would solidify 12 to 4 every week.
Oh, 12 to 4.
12 to
That's
4,
right.
yes.
Okay, good.
I don't believe there's any other programming in the city at all for that age range, like 18 to 23. Is that, am I correct?
Yeah, I think it's a deficiency throughout the nation,
Right.
not just
Yeah,
Kingston.
I see,
Yeah.
so, yeah.
Okay, thanks, guys. Yes,
I
absolutely.
don't know how you're 18 to 20.
Absolutely.
You.
Perfect. See you guys?
All right.
Absolutely.
They'll all
Thank you.
become elected inspectors.
Excellent.
Exactly, I'm happy to contribute to that.
We have next meeting.
The next one is the Center for Creative Education, programming for seniors.
Which one is it?
Center for Creative Education, CCE.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that one, I mean, it's interesting because it's sort of like kids and seniors, really,
Mhm.
the intergenerational, and I love that, I love the concept of it. I think more should be done in that area. $40,000 is a lot. We're gonna be very-
That's almost half of what we have.
Yeah, so. But we will be speaking to Drew at some point, potentially.
Drew or,
Or some, one of his,
yeah, or maybe Meredith, how much?
Oh, Meredith, okay.
Yeah, like I said, we had
Because you're right.
this week, I just want to make sure that we all got to go through the applications, understood what was here, and the next week, because when they come, they don't just come with one. There's like, this is the only room that we have for this, and we like, each
It's gonna be-
people come on, and
Okay,
And I think I would just echo what you're saying, is in terms of the amount of money, it's a very significant amount compared to all the others.
right,
And so it'd be important to know exactly how
yeah,
it's going to be spent.
Well, and then the other question is, $40,000 is a big investment that we would make, and then is this something that they're gonna maintain, or is this filling your budget hole for 1 year? And do you know what I'm saying?
I hear
Right, though in their budget, they did have a substantial match coming from their own organization,
Absolutely.
but you're right, it's a big request from our minuscule funds.
Yeah.
But it does sound like a great program, as do all of the applications really do.
The
Okay,
next one is the City of Kingston After School and Summer Art Programs.
I said everything I felt. I think it's a great program. I think it's needed, and I love the connections that are made. I just I don't feel comfortable funding the exact same program every year. I mean, this program has been going on for at least a decade.
and since I haven't been involved in the past, do the programs vary from year to year, or this really is the same program every year? Or that's a question for whoever
I
comes
mean,
in.
it's primarily the same program. It's like an after-school drop-in, and,
Right,
I think it's great. I mean, I guess I would want to know, would this program go away if it wasn't funded?
We've never had an answer to that. Somebody
It's been asked.
ventured,
Oh, it has been, okay.
yeah, I mean, somebody ventured it in, the city will find a way. And I suspect that's probably true. I mean, I don't think the city's gonna give up this program. I was really hoping Lindsay might be here. I don't know if you spoke to her. Is this different than their usual summer program? It didn't sound like it to
I
me.
don't think so, but again, the next meeting in 2 weeks,
but she'll be here.
everybody is highly encouraged, and if she can't come, she should send, and I made that clear to everybody, that if you can't make it, you should send somebody who can represent on behalf of your organization to explain what this application is about.
And it is, I mean, this is I mean, I love the program. The program is great. It serves so many kids downtown that ordinarily would have nothing to do. But-
My understanding is they don't run it at Midtown anymore. They used to run a program at Midtown and downtown. I think it's just downtown.
Just
now.
downtown.
Yeah, they used to do it at the Hodge Center, and then I don't remember it ever being at Midtown. It was
No, I.
I'm sorry,
well,
yeah,
Hodge and,
I couldn't say
Right.
the same, but
Oh,
to
rather-
me, I think of Midtown area being not necessarily the Midtown
Neighborhood
center,
center.
but.
Well, I just think the Midtown Neighborhood Center is like such a wonderful space, and I think like there shouldn't be a moment where that place is empty. What a great drop-in that would be. So close to the high school.
I'm not sure why they just do round out. But we can ask that question.
Yeah, it's a good question.
Well, I suspect because it's the proximity to Randolph Gardens, Row East.
Yes,
Yeah, but I think their conversation the last time was you have kids that can't get to downtown,
right.
and you have kids that are downtown that can't get to Midtown. So I think that's why at one time they tried to have a program at each
Right.
facility.
Okay, so I think we have some questions for Lindsay
Mhm.
next time.
The next one is the Center for Holographic Arts.
Yes, please.
Which one is it?
I've heard a word like that.
Center for
Take
Holographic
your
Arts.
chair.
That's it.
I brought a few postcards and a flyer that is about us. And I encourage all of you to come visit us and see our current exhibition.
Sure.
Do you want to say a few words about your program?
Um, well, first of all, the Hollis Centre is a 20-year-old not-for-profit organisation that was based in Queens that I took over 3 years ago and moved to Kingston. In fact, I took over with the condition that I was going to move to Kingston. I've lived here since 2002, outside of Kingston, but I've been witness to the changes going on here, and I'm very excited about what's happening in Kingston. So we've finally found a space for ourselves and opened our doors in October. We have a current show running right now. We are stabilizing ourselves as a new organization in Kingston right now and starting to establish programs. So we're going to be offering workshops teaching holography, entry-level workshops. We've already got a sign-up list of 16 people that want to come and do that, which we're going to be doing begin in March. I've had more than 10 years of working as a teaching artist in schools, primarily on Long Island, where I was making holograms for kids and introducing them to it from a science and art and technology background, because it is a medium that embraces all of those aspects. And it's a great medium in terms of introducing kids to technology, to a new technology that's going to impact all of us actually more so over the next 10 years as we begin to get 3D on our phones and 3D on our laptops, and this technology is coming. So in terms of what I'm proposing here, we have been reaching out to the local community and notably to CCE and My Kingston Kids and the staff at Boys and Girls Club. We've had some groups of kids come into the gallery. We're going forward. We want to offer workshops individually to groups of those kids. But this program that we've applied for funding for is for a summer camp, so that we would bring in groups of 10 kids for a 4-day period who work with us to learn about this medium, to explore creating holograms of their own. We have a small facility in the back of the gallery where we can make entry-level holograms. It's not the advanced level that we ultimately hope to have, because there is actually a 2,500 square foot basement in this building that we hope to expand into as an artist in residence program and an advanced teaching facility. So we're beginning to reach out for interns and apprentices who will come and work with us and learn about this medium and learn to work with it creatively. We're looking for them to grow into this with us so that they would become our assistants in this summer program. So, and I am actually very interested in the new facility with the older group of students, and that's very relevant for us. You know, I'm new to this community in terms of Kingston, and I'm still learning a lot about all that's going on here, but I think we bring something really unique that is offering skills to students that don't often get those opportunities. And, you know, when I was working on Long Island, it was largely the wealthy schools that were funding us. They had budgets to do this. So we really want to work with the kids that don't get those opportunities, to give them a leg up, to get them started in this technology and open doors for them with bigger vision, you know, going forward and providing opportunities. So the program itself, we were looking at bringing in, doing 6 weeks with 10 kids a week, so that it would be two sets of kids from each of those organizations. So we'd serve a total of 60 kids over that 6-week period. So,
And during that week, if each of the kids are there, if those groups are there, how many hours are they spending? You know, is this an afternoon, so they come in every afternoon for a week, or how does the timing of it work?
well, that we have to negotiate with the organizations too, in terms of how their programs run too.
Mhm.
But my goal is for them to have a period of probably about 4 to 5 hours working with us during the day, depending on what the scheduling works out. We have some flexibility.
Mhm.
I'm looking at 4 days a week because the gallery is open Friday through Sunday. So we have Monday through Thursday when we have freedom of the whole day and some
Okay.
flexibility
Yeah.
in there. We have room in the gallery to set up multiple tables so that we can do some experimental work. In fact, something that's hot off the press. One of the companies or the foundations that's just has been funding us is donating us a totally new piece of equipment. It's a digital holographic microscope that they're going to be marketing, but they're giving us one of these. So that's one of the things that we will be exploring. So we're going to be looking at it. They'll be exploring lasers, exploring experiments with optics and light, and they'll be working on creating their own compositions for making 3D holograms. We're working with a simple format, a simple entry-level system. So this is not advanced equipment. And we have a small room at the back of the gallery that will be set up just as the holography facility. And so the kids will be making compositions, and then we'll be taking turns with it. And I would like a staff member from the organization to be with us, and to have a student apprentice with us, and myself, so that we will take turns where each one of those kids will go to shoot holograms in the room, make their own hologram. And to have the opportunity to expand on some of those ideas, because we've got a week to play with this, or 4 days, so that they'll get to go more in depth and explore some of their ideas, and then to combine those holograms into compositions where they can, add on to it. And I'm actually talking to, the Metro building has got a makerspace that's going in there, whether that will be ready in time for us at that point in time. But I'm exploring the two directors, well, the director of that facility came down last week, and I'm going to be going to meet with them. We're looking at how we can collaborate together, how we can use the resources of the Metro Center's facility, because frankly, all the equipment they're going to have in there is like a dream come true for a photographer. It provides all these extra tools that we don't have. In an amazing space. So I'm starting to build those networks and connections, and I want us to be part of the community and that can offer tools that aren't available anywhere else.
Is there going to be a cost associated with this, Kim?
This will be for free, in terms of anybody coming to this program.
So you're thinking, you're going to meet the low mod criteria based on the partnerships that you are.
What do you mean by low?
Low income, moderate income kids participating in the program
Right.
based on
The organizations we're
based
working
on the
with.
organizations.
Yeah.
Okay. First off, let me say, forgive me, you have volumes of information attached. So if I'm asking questions, it's in there, and just let it roll off. I do have several. Now, is your goal for this to provide an avenue for future employment, or just to learn this particular medium?
We're very interested in evolving a workforce development program, because I see this, there's new technology coming down the pipeline, and we are working with companies that have got digital holographic displays. Some of them are commercially available right now, some are not, but they're going to be coming online over the next 10 years or so. what we see is offering kids the low-end entry into this technology to learn about it. And also, we're planning on VR and AR as well further down the line. But right now, we're focused on holography. And holographic, what you may not be aware of is that holography, although, what we're showing you is fine art, right now you've got them on your credit cards, they're on security devices, they're on banknotes, they're on driver's licenses, they're inside the supermarket scanners, they're in microscopes. I mean, there are a broad range of applications that are not obvious. But ultimately, there are jobs in those fields, and they're trying to attract more and more people into those fields. So we're preparing the kids with a fun way of experimenting and learning about this technology, which we hope will draw them into these other areas with good paying jobs and opportunities.
Okay, that's what I was looking for.
Yeah.
I'm not aware, but are there anything like this available elsewhere locally?
No,
Or even throughout the valley?
no. When I was on Long Island, I was the only one. Interestingly enough, just this last weekend, somebody came into the gallery whose brother had been in the program that I had taught at Fort Washington School District. And he has memories of all of this through his brother. That was the most fun project I did the whole time I was there. But I was the only one doing this, actually. I mean, holography went through a difficult period. We lost our recording materials. When I started doing this, we had film from Kodak, Agfa, Ilford, and Fuji. But we lost all those materials. We've now got new materials. We've now got new lasers. We have new technologies coming forward. And we have a new wave of young people that are reaching out to us that want to learn about it. So we're hoping to raise the money to build out that whole facility downstairs, which will be making it available for both advanced level teaching and also artist in residence programs. So we're getting our feet on the ground here in Kingston, but we have a long history in all of this.
Okay, and this is probably my last, it's two-part. What age groups are you looking at, and how do you plan to get word out? What's your outreach going to be?
Well, I've worked with kids from 5th grade upwards. So that again will depend on the organizations I'm working with, because they've got different age level groups. I could have a mixed group. We could be focused on young kids. That will depend. I mean, I've been working with Frank Waters at My Kingston Kids. I've been working with Drew at CCE, and I'm really blanking on her name, your program director. Yeah, yes. And who we had a group of kids come down who loved it and were very excited about it. And, it's all been very enthusiastic, and I'm eager to start this going. And hopefully we're in the fundraising phase right now too, and I'm hoping to get funds for us to start workshops after school in the spring semester before all this would happen anyway. So, opening it up to other kids as early as I can.
Okay. Are you able to provide for kids with special needs?
Well, our facility is completely handicap accessible. We've got brand new bathrooms that are handicap accessible. From that perspective, if they have special needs in terms of if they have somebody that comes with them, I don't see why not. The programs that I've done in schools have always included special needs kids. And in fact, those kids are often my star students. And they think differently. And they may have, holography is all about spatial thinking. And some of the learning disabled kids I've had are spatial thinkers. And they just see things in a different way, and they just take to this like ducks to water. So I've had a lot of success with that in the past, and that's an important part of what we do.
Okay, great. Actually, I hate to steal all the questions. But we always get to this point. If you're asking for 16, suppose we can only give you 8. How is that gonna affect you?
Well, we're in fundraising right now. I truthfully, just this week, I raised over $8,000. We're reaching out to the optics companies and the companies that do mass production for holography. They are based around the world. The company that just funded us is in France. We're looking internationally for all of this. The 2 foundations that funded us this time around, the International Holography Manufacturers Association, are based in Europe. The NOE Foundation in Paris, and Phases, which are based in California. And they're the ones that have the holographic microscope that they're giving to us too. So we're building that right now and reaching out to a lot of companies, but 8,000, I've just raised that this week.
I'm just picking that number out.
Right, well, that's half of what we're asking for, so, I do think that's possible for us to do.
Have you worked with the high school art program at all to get students involved?
I just started networking with them. I focus on these 3 groups because I was informed that those would fit your low to middle income requirements, and that wouldn't necessarily be true for the high school. So I haven't put my emphasis on that for this actual proposal. But I've already had a student come in from high school who wants to be an apprentice with us, and she's been dropping in a little bit. We're just getting started on that, but I want to bring in groups from those 2.
Yeah, they have a really great art program, and they partner a lot with the community arts.
Right, Kit has been helping me to connect up.
I think we're good, right? All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming.
Goodbye.
Thank you.
I had to research just to understand the application.
Cool.
Like what the hologram is?
Yeah, I was like, what? But this,
Yeah,
I will. I absolutely will.
Friday through Sunday, 12 to 5, we're open. And if you can't come during that time, give me a call. My email's on there, and I'm available for appointment during the week too.
Great.
So,
Thank you. The next one is Center for Photography at Woodstock. Anything? Anybody?
Well, I have a couple questions. I don't know if we're gonna answer them. So maybe we should wait till they're here.
The other thing that we can do is during the week, if you get any questions, I can get them off to them so they're at least prepared. Even if they don't show up, they can send the responses back. Because it does make it harder when you have questions and they don't answer them, and then you're just not, I'm not saying you're not sure what to do, but you might cut a program that you might not normally cut. Or,
Would this program work with the requirements for paperwork for the government? Given the clientele that they would be?
for the photography.
Yeah.
So what happens is they have to be able to, somehow prove to us that at least 50% of the people that they're working with are LMI. So we do at times get information from the high school, but there's a lot of things that we can't get from them. There's it's not HIPAA, but it's on the same idea where,
Right.
so a lot of times, if they bring some sort of an ID with them, because we have to, so the other thing is when we do our reporting, I have to report on how many Black African-American people are helped, how many Hispanics are helped, how many Caucasians are helped, how many Asians are helped. So they have to be able to document this, and you cannot, I can promise you this has happened. You cannot just base what your thoughts are on the way somebody looks, the way they're dressed. We've had that happen where we were like, well, where did this information come from? Oh, we could tell from the way they looked when they came in. Whoa.
Yeah, no.
I mean, you can't do that. So they do have to, you know, sign off on acknowledging the fact that they're online, or if they're kids and their parents would have to sign off on that, because they have to be able to prove that at least 50% of the clientele are online.
But the burden would be on the recipient to prove that when they submit their final report.
Yes. But our due diligence is to
It's
drop in
to try
on the
and figure
program
out, right?
and see what's going on.
And these are English new learners, so this is an immigrant community, so I guess there's some assumptions being made that the immigrant community
Yeah,
is low and moderate income.
to an extent, we can make assumptions, but not.
Okay,
I guess perhaps, I don't know, this might be my only question, but, again, there's a lot of information in here about the program. And, I guess what I would like to know is specifically, I was working with immigrants and language, what their goal for that is. How are they going to measure those goals?
Yeah, I don't know, from what I read, and that's something that we would have to ask them. It kind of looked like their end goal would be through pictures, for them to be able to tell a story about themselves and how they got to where they are.
that's my understanding too.
I mean, that's what I understood from the application, but
All right.
again,
But I guess, yeah, my question is, to what end? What do they envision that helping is just,
I think you
The
could
power of
argue
language
that's like a
kind of
very
thing.
empowering
Yeah.
experience.
Yeah.
To be able to tell your story, your own personal story, and share that with other people.
right,
Especially if you have like language, like you're not able to communicate,
Right.
because of the language barrier.
so I guess it's about the power of communication and the ability to do that.
yeah, and I think
And
they were.
how are they gonna measure that? That's
Well, that I
pretty,
don't know, but I mean, I know that they were gonna do like a display of, I don't know, I forget how many,
okay, well, we can ask
That's
them
a
something.
question
36.
for them. Yeah.
so they're probably looking at like
Yeah, that's fine,
a display of 36 kids going through this phase.
yeah, no problem.
Then, of course, there's the question you always ask, which is, what happens if they don't get all the money?
Well, of course, that's always
I know.
the last question. And for some of you, this is your first time. We do have people sit here and say, well, my program can't function. If I don't get the full amount, I can't do it. So, you know, in years past, we've had people kind of back us into a corner about it. And unfortunately, as I've said, I don't know how many times, the reality is, you know, we can't give everybody everything that they are looking
I
for.
think
So,
what's your choice here, actually, I had somebody say, if you can't give me what I'm asking for, I'm forfeiting my ask, and they just don't, because they know they can't run the program if they're only getting what they're asking for, so they left it on the table for somebody else.
And it is, yeah, so it's an all, or they put us in an all or nothing kind of role, so, sometimes it's nothing.
Mhm.
Okay,
The next one is Point God Academy. I really wish they hadn't used the word God. It looks like it's, I know, but you guys already had your good work in order first. But because we're not supposed to fund anything that seems religious based, and just because it says God, that would be a red flag, if you will. So you're going to explain, and I know why it's called that, but you're going to explain to everybody where the name came from.
All right, God is, so if you are the expert in your field, AKA sport, because we are, the program I'm asking for is a sports program. If you're Tom Brady quarterback, or if you're Chris Paul, LeBron James for basketball, you are God at that thing. So it's GAWD. We couldn't do that because it was already taken as far as the IRS is concerned. So we use God. We are not a religious program. Not to say some of my kids might not believe in God, but we are a point guard. Is in basketball is the top person, that's who runs your team. So instead of saying point guard, because we couldn't do that either, point guard, can't trademark God. So point guard in the sense of you're that good at what you do. And that is why we have the God in our name. Yes.
That was really helpful.
You're welcome.
And it was explained in your application too.
Yes.
I tried that.
I was wondering where.
I mean, that was the first thing, I tried to make it the first thing so everyone see that
Everyone
we
understood
weren't related right away, that we weren't a religious program.
I gotta ask you, you're related to Tyree?
Yes, that is my older brother.
You look just like him, you know, right?
Look just like me, imagine if you see my little sister.
As soon as I walked through the door, I said, oh boy, that's gotta be
Yeah.
Tyree's sister. I coached Tyree for many
Yeah.
years,
So you're the reason why he got his skills?
and he was the best point guard I ever saw.
And he's one of the guys who came up with the name, because we are a family business, so, yeah.
Tell him Mr. Shabbat said hi.
I definitely will, I didn't know it was you until, I'm like, yo, he's funny, and then he's like, that's Mr. Chat. And I said Chat, because Harry talks about it a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
That's nice to hear.
growing up, yeah, because you're his person for growing up,
I call him my son.
yeah. Oh, my older sibling has that person, because my parents, as you know, were an imam, so everyone has that person.
Okay, so we're gonna have some questions for you.
Yep, okay.
Obviously, you just have to do the whole process. So I have a couple here. Why do you think your program is gonna be different and or better than somebody going to the city rec league and playing?
That right there, you have to go to the city rec league, like the city here, or go out of town city. So that's my question to you. Are you talking about city, like the city of Kingston rec, like Big League?
Well, that's what, I'm talking about a duplication here.
Okay, so
You think it's, obviously you think it's a better program
I
than the
do.
city rec.
because we play, all right, if you play, we learn each other. You get new skills when you leave the city. You learn what the real world is like, because when you leave for college, you're not gonna be playing with the same people. You have to learn new people, learn different things, and they have different tools, and they've grown up differently, so they may be of some better sport. They may have been trained their whole lives and had access to gyms and trainers like that, where our kids don't have access to these things. So one of the things that I do is try to give them that access or that opportunity to play like some of those big time high school players that they see, like, oh, I want to grow up. Everybody wants to grow up to be an NBA player, but no one has NBA player money or the training or the facilities that the NBA player kids actually have. So what I see in our rec league, because I actually have a team in our rec league right now, I'm working on my 14-18, I'm working with Mass Oak now, but they're your friends. And sometimes when you're going against your friend, you don't play as good, or you play with the notion of, I don't want to beat my friend, I don't want to make my friend feel this type of way. But when you leave Kingston, they're not your friend and they're going to beat you down. And I think some of our kids need to see that everybody isn't your friend. And I'd like to teach our kids that through basketball.
Okay. And we're gonna hold the program.
I hold the program under the Boys and Girls Club.
Okay, all right,
We are based out of the Boys and Girls Club right now.
all right. And how are you gonna gauge your success here? Just your personal opinion? Yeah, okay, this guy, he got it. This guy, not so much.
I can get as far as the kids individually, like when they're trying out for our team, or like after they leave me.
Well, after you're done, because if you come to us again, we want to know how you did.
Mhm.
We want you to be able to say, this is how we impact this person and this person. So how you, at the end of the program, how you gonna say this guy did?
By what they're doing.
That's your opinion.
Yeah,
That's
that's,
your opinion.
yes, by basically my opinion, they
Yeah,
would
that's
say
fine.
that, or word of mouth.
Okay.
I think in here where it says last year that you saw all 9 of your high school seniors graduate from their class with 100% of them attending college in the fall.
And the year before that, I had all 4 of my seniors
Yeah, and that
graduate and go
you're
to
helping
college.
them with college.
Yes,
So that's a good
Yeah.
goal and a good
but
way to.
show them what they do. I have a kid who played with me last year. Now, he might not, I just asked him today if he's gonna play with me again this year, but he has other teams who want him to play for them that are bigger names than me, but they're not in Kingston, so he has to drive and pay more money to play on these teams. But because of his work with us and his growth and his game, he's now being asked to play for other teams. So I can't really say, it's more so what you hear about the kids.
Okay.
Because sports is all an opinion.
So I just had a question about the budget. I didn't see how the money was going to be spent. Any that you asked for?
I was rental space for gym and trying to get the kids jerseys because we are growing. So we went from 1 team to 3 teams, and now we're at 4 teams with a possibility of the girls team this summer. So 5 teams.
You never had a girls team before?
I had them in the fall for a tryout run
Okay.
of last year, and it was good. We had a good turnout. We had 10 girls all together, but the range of the ages were so crazy. You have a 9-year-old playing with the 14-year-olds, and then the 14-year-olds playing with 10. So it was like, but I can't put them in a 9-year-old, 14-year-olds in a 9-year-old group.
Right.
So the 9-year-old was okay with playing up, and she did wonderful. She did wonderful. Oh my gosh, she did good. But I want to be able to put them in their age bracket to actually, you're doing what you're supposed to be doing.
That's great.
Now, I see in your write-up, I'm not sure to what extent, you're talking about helping with college experience. Now, I love that. When I was in high school, when I started applying for colleges in June of my senior year, because my guidance counselor never said, you gotta get going, and every place I applied, it was full. I mean, I didn't get it, I went to Ulster, but I literally couldn't get it anyplace else.
Yes, all my kids know, even my younger kids now, because I have my 11 and 12-year-olds, they see the kids that are their juniors and they see it right now, they're actually doing the process of going to school. So they already see it. So they just know that when they get to it, I'm gonna be on top of them. So my juniors, I actually make them download the Common App, and then prepare to write their essay. Where I love the Boys and Girls Club, it helps me because I make majority of my kids do the Youth of the Year for the Boys and Girls Club. So that way they know how to do speeches, they know how to write resumes, they know how to write proper essays. So with them doing that, they may not win it. Last year, I was just so happy that one of my kids actually won it. We got to go to Albany. But it prepares them, so when they do the Common App, to send out their application, because now with the Common App, you write an essay, it gets sent to all the SUNY schools and all the local colleges, none of the junior college, like community colleges, but some of the SUNY schools, so that way, that one essay goes out to all the schools, so they don't have to continue to write essays, because our kids don't like writing essays. So I have them do that off rip. And then, right now, I have a couple kids, I have some kids that go to HBCUs, they love it, so they bring that energy back. So now I have some kids that got accepted into all these SUNY schools, but he wants to go to Georgia University. He's like, now I want to go to HBCU. I'm waiting for them to write me back. So now the kids are getting a little bit more excited about the college process and filling out their applications, making them go to their guidance counselors for the SATs, because none of them know what their SATs are. I'm like, all right, it's on the college board. I know what it is now. And then now they're just getting the process of just doing the work, and my job is just to stay on top of them. So I'll make sure they do it.
Right. And I should back up for a second. Not that there's anything the matter with Ulster. I mean, made that sound kind of negative.
Got my kids, there's some kids we got
Yeah.
there.
I really got a good education at Ulster, especially as an artist. The art classes there were top notch. I still use techniques that I learned. I want to tell you when I went there, but it's a long time ago. I still use some of the things I learned there.
See, I'm pushing community colleges now because my kids see North Carolina do, because they're sports kids. So they want to do these big sports and not understanding that I'm a realist and I'm honest with them about their skills, you're not going there. So you have to be realistic about your game, and also it could be a good stepping stone to getting there. You might not have the body yet to play with those big kids, so we got to work on getting you in the weight room and getting you this training, and community colleges do that for you. Like I have some kids that go to Dutchess after me too.
And you'll be in a great position to realize what kids are really not ready to go by, even physically.
With their work
They're
ethic and
ready to
everything.
compete on a varsity level at a Division I school up here, They're not ready to even leave home, let alone go to Notre Dame or something.
Oh, we go to the games and they see it, and then I bring college boys to our gym, as a girls club. So they see, like, just this Saturday that passed, Columbia Green Community College, which Coach Mace, I don't know if you guys know Connor Mace, he coached the head coach. His kid, one of my kids that were with me for the last 2 years, goes to that college now. And he brought some of his teammates to the Boys and Girls Club to play on a Saturday, where we're open, and they were like, oh, okay. It's a little bit more fast paced, and then I don't let some of my sophomores and freshmen get on the court because I'm like, you guys aren't ready for that. You're not there yet, because growing up, he wasn't good, he wasn't getting on the court.
Right.
But some of them, they feel entitled because they're there when we get on the court with them. So I'm the bad guy. No, you're not playing today. But they'll sit there and watch, and it's like, it's fast paced, a little bit more physical. And then when they do play, they say, they always hit me up after every Saturday. Yeah, can I get in the gym Sunday? I want to get in the weight room. But they're never consistent with it. So I'm teaching them consistency outside of the sports, but with everything, because if you're consistent with it, everything will be better for you. So, yeah.
Okay. Anything else?
Maybe can I just advocate for the fact that Chate has been in the club. Her program brings us resource to kids that don't typically have access. Well, one of the things to realize is that if you want to play AAU basketball in this county, if you want to get around, there's no program. You have to go to Albany, you have to spend the money, you have to make the team, where typically our kids won't, even if they are equal level, because they'll take the kid who's in Albany, who's equal level. Chate's brought it to the kids who need it the most, the kids who can't get across town to get to Baylor for practice, can't get to these places, and it has filled the club, kept kids online, and has been really a huge addition.
And the course is phenomenal. Phenomenal.
Yeah, because I don't know if y'all know what AAU really costs. So there's two major teams right now in the AAU world. You have City Rocks and the Cap City. They're both based out of Albany because Albany is the capital. So many different areas coming from that area. For a team, they usually have, so I use my older group, my 16 under team. It's a minimum of $800 to play on the team. They have 4 teams. Now, the national team that they call national, which gets about 4 tournaments and the time frame that I'm doing it for, they might go to Indiana or somewhere else. It's a minimum of $1,000 to play on that team. But the parent still has to pay for travel, hotel, jerseys, book bags, all that extra stuff that the kids want to do. So you're paying for the $1,000 plus, all right, I'm going there for a weekend in Indiana, what does the hotel cost? But I gotta travel to Indiana, so how am I getting there? And then our kids, technically speaking, don't have access to all those outside of just the money. I charge $350, I went up $50 than I did last year because I want to do more for them. Like this year, we went to Atlantic City last year, probably do it again this year. They don't go out to Atlantic City, they go to New York City. So just to get them somewhere outside of Kingston and just to see the different world of basketball. But they also get to see the convention center. We walked in the boardwalk. We did so we do things as well. So you guys know the AAU world, it is very expensive. Like it's out of this world. It's a really good business though. Really good business if you do it right. Yeah. Thank you.
Good?
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, next one is read and write.
We're right back to the beginning where we started.
Right where we started. I mean, this program has been running in tangent with the city's after-school programs, and I think the city should just suck it up and pay for it, because it's a good complement to the after-school drop-in program.
Okay. That's my first question. Why is this different than it was last year?
Yeah.
Doesn't sound like it is. It's pretty much the same thing. It's a great program. What we say with everyone that comes here, great program, but it's the same program.
Right.
I mean, unless Teresa has something I'm not reading in this that makes it even slightly different.
I didn't see that, but I'm sure she'll be here next. I'm surprised she's been here tonight, but I'm sure she'll be here
Okay.
next week.
Those are questions that we would be asking.
The next one, Lula's Kids. That's new. Greek groups. I saw how much they were actually,
Where they're what?
where they're gonna meet.
It did, yeah, I
It
didn't.
didn't
see
really
that.
say, right,
Just partnering.
because they're
with the
located in
community.
Shokin, but they're not saying, yes, where would it be? So that's a
Does
question.
Mentor Me have a space?
Well, I don't know.
A dedicated?
They've been, the address that they use is in Fort Ewing
Okay,
for Mentor Me.
Oh.
So I'm not really sure.
I don't think that's the space.
So that's a
They're
question.
mailing, yeah.
Yeah, where is it gonna take place?
I don't know where they ran out of last year, Mentor Me.
I mean, a lot of it is field trips.
Yeah, they were
Oh,
doing
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
They're doing kind of like a Big Brother. kind of thing.
Mentors. yeah.
Okay,
And they would, transport the kids if they needed to go someplace.
so we need a little more information from them.
And then the next one, fundraise. As of yet, she does not have a space to run this. I think she was trying to work with Parks and Rec, but hasn't gotten too far with that, from what I understand. So she definitely needs to come up with the space if you guys decide to fund this. You just can't just give 13,500 to,
Didn't they have space at the Y last year?
something didn't go right, and I don't know what it was.
I think we asked last year, when we went at the place. And
Oh,
again,
yeah.
this
Yeah, it says here they partnered with the Y.
this doesn't sound any different than last year to me.
I don't think it's much different. She was trying to get space across from Boys and Girls Club at Barnum Park. And I don't know if there's actually room there because there's games
Right.
and then there's outside, not just Parks and Rec, just, activities, but there's outside ball teams that come in with it. So I don't really know.
I can't remember without,
As of this morning, she didn't have any place to go.
did we get that money last year?
Yep. But I will make sure that she also comes.
Yes.
She had come to one of the earlier meetings. I mean, it's fascinating to me that we had a program of courses.
I know,
in
right.
Midtown. I mean,
And yeah,
it's pretty crazy.
during COVID, she was able to use a piece of property, I believe Iannucci let her use the property downtown in 2022.
I think the first year, that was the first question I had, is this even legal? That you can house horses in the middle of the city, but
Oh, she's
I don't
not,
think they don't house them.
No.
No,
So-
she-
They bring them in and then
They
take
bring-
them away.
she lives in the town of Ulster.
Okay.
And that was a thing that we tried to explain to her. Her thing was, well, I live in the city of Kingston. Like, no, you have a Kingston mailing address, but you don't live in the city of Kingston. So you have to, your program has to happen here.
Mhm.
So then that's when she was trying to partner with the high school. And then I think one year she actually did go down to Parks and Rec, I think at the Rondell Center. Okay,
I see them at the Hodge, there's photos of the Hodge.
yeah, not quite sure that was supposed to happen.
So I guess this
So we
will,
need more information.
Yeah.
this will be a wait and see.
Maybe I'll
She'll
bring
definitely-
first to the meeting.
Maybe.
Probably not a good idea.
She'll definitely come. UIDN, that's the next one, right?
Yeah.
Also seemed like it was a repeat of what they had done previously.
Yeah, I mean, the needs are very large.
Yeah, I mean, you can certainly say.
So we started funding them definitely during COVID. Maybe before. But I know definitely during COVID, because we used CARES funding for that, and then last year. In 2023.
And the previous grants were also food grants?
Yes.
Okay.
Then there's the YMCA. Like up for safety.
Which, if you look, that would be another question that I have, because we funded them for bicycle safety in 2022. And 2020,
I think
for
we,
the same,
I think we funded them 3 or 4 years.
yeah,
Bicycle safety in 2020. During COVID, I know we funded them 2022, 2023. So it's a different name, but they're Midtown Mechanics, they're Land Wheel, that's all part of their application.
okay.
The other thing in their application, they're saying that they are doing economic development. In order to do that, they have to
Thank you.
actually create jobs for somebody.
Right.
So, at one point it talks about how they're creating jobs, and then another, it says that they're basically doing things for free, which is fine. But if they're gonna say that they're creating jobs, then they need to prove to us that they're creating jobs at the end of this, whether it's 1 or 2. And that should happen last year too, but.
So it seems like the kids are developing skills, but that's not the same as creating a job.
Well, it's not just kids.
I mean, right,
Yeah, they're,
right, they're
adults as
adults
well.
too.
Yeah.
The other program, Walk with These, is similar to some of what are they, Strength for Seniors was what they had last year. Similar.
I see.
Yeah.
Not that I don't need to personally sign up for Walk with These. Strength for Seniors. I think it's
So the question for them would be, how does this differ from what they've done before? When they commit?
So I guess I would imagine that Rita,
the other thing.
will be here with both of those.
I mean, for the YMCA, I mean, that's a membership organization. Is this gonna be something that anybody can participate with, or do you have to be a member of the YMCA?
I'm not sure. We had, but this question came up when the equine program was running at the YMCA,
Yeah,
because, first she had stated that it was the YMCA members, and then it's like, well, now you're precluding somebody else from being able to come and participate who can't afford to go to the YMCA for the membership.
I mean, they do offer a discount, but it is a discount, and it is a big, it's
Membership
money.
is not cheap.
Yeah,
It's not cheap.
I know the senior programs that they've had in the past, they have to self-certify that they are low moderate income in order to participate in, like the seniors, I can't speak for kids,
Right.
but the seniors, they have to self-certify.
Right.
So we can't just take it on, and again, you shouldn't, just on location. Somebody who, I want to say lives up on Bergevin, may have lived their own life, but now they don't have social security and they don't own anything on their house, so you can't say that they're not, that they don't qualify for LMI just because they live on Bergevin.
Right.
So they do have to self-certify.
I would think most seniors being relatively fixed. At least most of the seniors.
they have to at least show us that 51% of the seniors are, you know, and if somebody's not willing to self-certify, then that's up to them. I mean, we can't force you, but then we also can't pay for the program. And we have done that too, where we've said, okay, you can only show us this many people. We can't give you the full amount.
Right.
So we have had to, you know, towards the end, say, hey, look, this is what we can give you. The amount of people who are willing to certify that, you know, they are LMI.
Is there anything that you would want us to be prepared for our next meeting so that we can continue to expedite this process?
Now, the next time, I'm sure everybody will come and they'll bring more than one person with them to drill at home why they should get funded. Just all I can say is have your questions, and that's pretty much how we get through this, is to just ask the questions, and then, you know, you guys come back to the table and you say, hey, okay, I understood what, I heard what they said. But if you feel that there's like two groups that are duplicating each other, you could either suggest that maybe they try to work together, or then you have to make a decision on who's really going to get funded. Does somebody have the ability to get funding elsewhere? Like, I know a lot of places get a lot of Noble funding. I mean, I'm just using that as an example because I don't really know who else really gives a lot of money. And then there's some people that don't know about Novo or haven't had a chance to get in touch with them to see if they could get anything. So
Right.
what they're supposed to do in their application is to tell us how they plan on coming up with their match. And I've made it very clear, and I said this every time we had one of our informational sessions. If you need to take a loan to run this program before you can get your reimbursement, you shouldn't be doing your
Right.
program. And we have had people do that. And if the government does not sign off on a budget and we don't know for sure that we're going to get money, then they have to be able to float it until we find out. We have had times where we should know by April, but the funds aren't released until like December. So like, we can't reimburse the city for payroll, and we can't reimburse anybody who's running the programs. So if they can't run it, then they shouldn't be asking for the funding.
Most government funding is reimbursement, so you have to lay out the money
Yeah.
first. So what is the process for the next 4 meetings? Do you go through every single organization, or you just set a time limit and say, okay, we're gonna get as far as we can get by
Well,
X
it
o'clock,
depends.
and then we start with the next ones the next week?
So I'll send out emails to everybody again, and I'll say you're highly encouraged to come and speak to them. And if they have questions, to either to ask them. And most of them know who've been through this process before. If they don't come, then, you know, they're really leaving it up to you without any additional information.
So how is what we do next week going to be different than what we did this week? In other words, when we had some people who showed up today, will they make another presentation? Or since they've already presented, will we work with just the people who did show up?
Well, my guess is, and I would encourage Dan and Shay to come again, and I'm sorry,
Linda.
and Linda, because you have Jeannie who wasn't here, you have.
Oh, I see, others who were.
Michael who
Right.
wasn't here, they may have additional
Got
questions.
it, yep.
And while I hate to ask you to come each time there's a meeting, I don't want you to miss out on somebody having a question that somebody else didn't or couldn't answer. I'm sorry,
They could watch the YouTube.
could, I would think you could.
So essentially, we're doing the same thing.
I see Michael and Jeannie.
We're doing the same thing each of the next 4 weeks, is to start at the beginning and ask questions and.
Yeah,
but-
but what I'm hopeful of is that they come and you guys can ask as many of the questions as you want or need to, and then we wouldn't have to ask them to keep coming back.
Yeah, I would hope not.
But it would just be where you
Yeah.
can sit here and say, hey, look, but, I mean, it's an open meeting, so it's not like I can say, hey, don't come.
Right, yeah, I understand.
So, yeah, and but we have had times where there's been questions, and then as people trying to drill down, like, geez, I really wish Dan was here so I could have asked him this. And I would just rather that if that happens,
And some of this does sound duplicative, and it is by design, because obviously everybody's not here tonight, so we'll give them another chance. And they might not be here next week either. And that,
Well, and if that's the case, then it,
yeah, that's.
I'm gonna say that that's on them, because at the end of the
Yeah,
day.
that's Yeah, because we don't want to have to.
Yeah, we don't
It's not
always
fair.
have members here, so,
No,
you know,
it's not
they
fair.
are, we do duplicate the effort, but I think it's just to make sure that we cover all bases.
So we cover all the bases, and then at the end, we make our, we have a discussion, and is that also open to the public? When we're having our discussion about the money and, okay.
Yeah, you're gonna hurt feelings
Yeah.
right in public.
And what we prefer is everybody come here with kind of a little bit of a game plan. I mean, you don't have to have things written, but, you know, let's go through the list and, you know, sometimes we all agree.
And the other reason I gave you this, and it's, you can use it on your computer, it automatically populates and fills it in. So if you're looking at the application, you're like, you know what? I know Dan said 14.28, but I'd really rather do 313. I don't want to cut him off at the knees, because I know he needs to have the money to run the program, but maybe somebody else, you know, you cut somebody else a little bit.
Mhm.
And what I always say is, what we have is a guesstimate of 650. We may get a little bit more, or we may get a little bit less, but then it's gonna be across the board. If there's an increase, it's gonna be an increase across the board. It might be $5, it might be $10 that's taken away. But that way it's fair to everybody, where it's not coming back. Yes.
So, we had the housing project, now that got moved out of this bucket.
Oh, I'm sorry, we did not actually code that application for, so, rebuilding together. Let me take care of this first, and I'll get to you.
Okay.
Rebuilding Together put in an application. They have been very successful in Dutchess County
Yes.
and they only deal with seniors.
Right.
For low moderate income seniors who need to have like emergency repairs or a health and safety feature of their house fixed.
New RAM.
They only asked for 20 because they want to prove to us, without overreaching, that they can get this done. And they do have a short list of seniors that they are ready to help, should they be able to get. No, we do not have the housing rehabilitation program anymore.
So what happened to their application? Are they just
Just who's,
to the rebuilding together? Is it,
you didn't get it? It's,
but it wasn't in our list. It's not going under public service.
no, because it's gonna be housing rehabilitation.
So,
So the housing rehabilitation is separate
right,
from
so
public
we don't,
services.
so it can be a separate bucket,
Yes.
which is great.
Yes,
So we can
Yeah,
not
we-
have to like take the,
yes.
because I thought that was a really great program.
Yeah, it's not part of the 97.5 here, it's up top, so yeah.
Excellent, that's what I was happy to see. Because I thought that was a really,
And I would like to
Great
see them
program.
succeed, because we really need to have more of that.
Yeah.
By having it in our office, I don't have enough time to overlook that, and at the end of the day, am responsible. We did have a rehab program. Unfortunately, some people found it difficult to stay within the maximum amount of money that we were able to spend before triggering, like lead abatement and whatever, or only allowed to $25,000 until it turns into a much bigger thing.
honestly, but I think there's also, having a nonprofit go out to bid for some of these projects as opposed to a municipality go out to bid. The price points are
Yeah, and
remarkably different.
so for rebuilding together, it's all volunteers. Nobody gets paid. The only thing they use the money for are the materials for what they need to use to fix somebody's house.
Yeah.
it's sort of like habitat.
Yeah.
Great,
Okay.
see you in 2 weeks.
Yes,
Yes. Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you to those of you who came in.
I would love